Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into something pretty amazing, how real positive change actually happens. We're going to look at the incredible power of a single person, a truly revolutionary idea, and a dedicated effort to save a species, and see how they're all making our world a better place.
So right off the bat, I've got a question for you. What do a Peace Prize, a tiny forest, and a giant ox all have in common? I know, it sounds like the setup to a really weird joke, right? But the answer connects three incredible stories of transformation that are unfolding as we speak. So stick with me and we'll connect all the dots.
First up, let's talk about an absolute force of nature, a person who has spent her life lifting people up. Her name is Graça Machel, and she's a world-renowned human rights activist and humanitarian from Mozambique. Her story is just a perfect example of what one person's dedication can achieve.
And look, her influence isn't just in one little area. We're talking about a massive ripple effect. From building schools and fighting for better healthcare, to empowering communities to build their own economies and getting life-saving aid right where it needs to go. It's this all-in approach that makes her work so powerful.
And because of this incredible life's work, she has been selected for the super prestigious Indira Gandhi Prize for 2025. Now, this is not just any old award. Since 1986, the Indira Gandhi Memorial Trust has given this prize to some of the heaviest hitters on the world stage, people who've made just outstanding contributions to peace.
To really get a sense of how significant this prize is, just look at this number, 1 crore rupees. That's 10 million rupees. A cash award that big really shows the immense value and respect the world has for the recipient's work. It's a huge deal.
But you know, it's not just about the money. The prize is a full-on recognition package. It includes a formal citation, which details all of her amazing contributions, and of course, a trophy. And getting selected is tough. It's handled by an international jury, which for 2025 was headed by the former National Security Advisor, Shiv Shankar Menon. So yeah, she's in very good company.
Okay, so let's shift gears for our next agent of change. We're going from a person changing societies to an idea that is completely changing landscapes. This is the story of the revolutionary Miyawaki method.
So what is it? Well, it was developed way back in the 70s by a Japanese botanist named Akira Miyawaki. And honestly, it's a total game changer for afforestation. People sometimes call it the pod plantation method, but the idea is simple and brilliant. You take a small area, use only native species, and plant them super close together.
Okay, think about how a regular forest grows. For it to mature and become its own self-sustaining little world, well, you're looking at 100 years, maybe even longer. It's a slow process.
Now get ready for the Miyawaki magic. This method hits the fast-forward button. You can get a dense, thriving, beautiful forest in as little as 10 years. Why? Because the plants grow a mind-boggling 10 times faster than they would normally. No, that's not a typo. 10 times faster.
The process itself is surprisingly straightforward. First, you pick out a bunch of different native species. Then, and this is the key, you plant them incredibly close to each other. This creates a sort of competition for sunlight, so all the plants just shoot straight up, racing for the sky. You give them a little help for the first 2 or 3 years, and after that, boom, the forest takes care of itself.
And the benefits are just massive. It's not just about speed. These forests are way denser, they're more biodiverse, and they absorb a whole lot more carbon. This makes them a perfect solution for bringing green spaces back into our cities and fixing up degraded land. It's a powerful tool in the fight against pollution and climate change.
Okay, from people to plants, our last agent of change takes us into the animal kingdom. We're going to focus on the fight to protect a truly magnificent but sadly vulnerable creature, the gaur, which you might know as the Indian bison.
So what exactly is a gaur? Well, for starters, it's the largest wild cattle species on the entire planet. Let that sink in. It's a member of the Bovidae family, and this absolute unit of an animal is native to the forests of South and Southeast Asia.
But the gaur isn't just big and impressive, it has a super important job in its ecosystem. It's like a landscape manager. It controls vegetation, spreads seeds around, and it's also a key source of food for apex predators like tigers. Basically, if you see a healthy gaur population, you know you're in a healthy, thriving forest.
But, as I said, this gentle giant is in trouble, and its survival really hangs in the balance. It all comes down to us, understanding the threats it's up against and creating safe places for it to live.
And the two biggest dangers are pretty clear and frankly devastating. The first is just straight-up habitat loss. As humans expand, their forests shrink. The second is the spread of diseases from domestic cattle. The gaur just doesn't have the resistance to fight them off.
And this right here shows you just how serious things are. The IUCN Red List calls the gaur vulnerable. It's also in Appendix I of CITES. That's the highest level of protection against international trade. And in India's Wildlife Protection Act, it's in Schedule I, which again gives it the absolute highest level of legal protection. These aren't just letters, they are alarm bells.
But it's not all bad news. There is hope. Places like the Debragar Wildlife Sanctuary in Odisha are acting as critical strongholds. This sanctuary is a fantastic habitat, not just for the gaur, but for leopards, sloth bears, and tons of other wildlife. It's proof that when we decide to protect a space, it really works. So we've talked about an inspiring humanitarian, a radical way to build a forest, and a vulnerable animal. It's time to bring it all home. Let's find that common thread that ties these three powerful stories together.
See, each one is a different kind of agent of change. You have Graça Machel, a person, completely transforming human lives. You have the Miyawaki method, an idea, totally transforming physical landscapes. And you have the conservation efforts for the gaur, a focus, that's transforming the entire future of a species. And that right there is the real takeaway. It doesn't matter if it's driven by one person's unstoppable dedication, a brilliantly simple technique, or a collective effort to save an animal. Positive, powerful change is 100% possible. So that just leaves one last question. What role are you going to play?